When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can seem intense. Like breakup R&B intense.
I thought you said you loved the sweater that I got you. If you didn't, you could have told me.
Geico makes it easy. Just go to Geico.com anytime to update or check your policy without all the extra drama.
I even had a gift receipt.
Welcome to LSD Radio. What you are about to hear is intended for listeners 18 years of age or older and is for entertainment purposes only. The Bad Habits Network must insist that no one attempt to recreate or reenact any activity described on this show. This podcast may contain lewd, crude, vulgar, sexist, racist, fascist, argumentative, disgusting, appalling, explicit, edgy, and downright offensive language and or subject matter. For individuals easily offended, this may not be the program for you. We recommend turning this off now. Are they gone?
They gone yet? Excellent. Fuck those guys. Right in their fucking asses.
All right, those asshats are gone. Let's have some fun.
Awesome.
Well, welcome to LSD Radio. I'm Lord.
I'm Sir.
And I'm Daddy.
And today we're going to talk about...
Predators!
Oh, predators. I love them.
Yeah.
Not the ones with, laser beams that shoot out of their hand and, come out invisibly and rape you in the butt.
I want that cloaking device.
Fuck you, those things are awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd totally rock a Predator.
Well, you'd fuck a predator.
Nah, well, I don't know.
think you
The
could pull
female
off being a
Predator
predator.
is kind of, stacked. I will admit this. And, she's already kind of wearing fishnets, and
Aliens,
that's definitely
titties.
one of my things. But, I'm also really into oral, and I'm afraid of that particular cavity.
I'm not. You see how wide her mouth opens up?
Yeah, but did you see all those sharp teeth?
Did you see how wide her mouth opens up? I'm not worried so much about the teeth when her mouth descends the size of a football.
She can bite you in 8 directions. Is that really such a bright idea?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
You sick fucker.
Oh my god, I bet she gives good head. If you like little teeth.
Maybe if I had a steel-coated penis.
You pretty much have a steel-coated penis.
You do sort of have your own chainmail down there.
Okay, alright, maybe I'll survive it. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should get a
Might even
chainmail
chip her
cock
tooth.
sheath that just attaches to your piercings. That'd
To
be kinda
battle!
cool. Yeah.
Battlecock.
Does that mean when I run into the bedroom naked wearing nothing but the chainmail cock sheath, I can yell, "Charge!"
Oh yeah.
All right.
most definitely.
Like you wouldn't anyway.
Yeah, point.
Let's face it, if the mood took you.
I would take the mood.
Yeah. You'd run in Lance first, as it were.
Yes.
Yeah, so predators.
Predators!
No, we're talking about the real predators in the real community.
Yeah. I don't know. Thoughts on predators?
I know there was a discussion on the FetLife a while back about good predators and bad predators.
Uh-huh.
There are those of us who do prey on bad people for a reason.
Yep.
Prey on bad people. Define that. What do you mean by prey? Those of us that prey on bad people for a good reason.
Well, every predator has a predator
Okay.
in the food chain.
Okay.
Except the apex.
But
Aha!
logically in nature, there's predators and there's prey, but the predator always has a predator above it, something else that keeps it in check. And the individuals that are predators of the predators, they don't go after the weak, they don't go after the timid, they don't go after people to sexually assault them. No, they go after the assholes and douchebags that are fucking up everybody else's Christmas and trying to point out that those people are bad people.
Why can't they be fucking up our Hanukkah?
I was going to say, the Lord doesn't have Christmas.
I'm sorry to the Jew in the room fucking up our December winter holiday. To all you Wiccans, your solstice, to all of you atheists, New Year's.
Actually, technically, to an atheist, New Year's wouldn't mean anything. It's Christian calendar.
Meh.
God damn. I don't honestly get any holidays out of this deal, do I?
Nope.
Thanksgiving.
4th of July, Independence Day. I'm an American atheist. I get 4th of July.
President's Day.
Oh, Memorial Day, Labor Day.
Martin Luther King Day.
I'm not black. I don't get that one.
You can still appreciate what he did.
Oh.
Think of all the wonderful black people in your life that have an education and equal rights and that you can associate with without getting the shit beaten out of you behind the garage like you would have been, 50, 100 years ago.
Right.
I mean, Martin Luther King kind of helped everybody on that one.
Wow, how the fuck did our conversation about sexual deviant predators deviate off into a social rights conversation?
It happens.
Civil rights
because
conversation.
we're talking.
It happens.
I don't want to talk. Can we
Well,
talk
what
about,
do you want to say about predators?
What do I want to say about predators? So maybe we should take a step back and define what we consider predators within the kink scene.
Mm-hmm. Rapists.
Specifically rapists?
Well, those of us that do play rape and are open and honest about it, hey, if you want to do consent, non-consent, let's talk about this because I will totally, in quotes, rape the shit out of you.
Yep.
But I'm not really going to do it.
So it's a tricky little catch there is that rape, depending on the area in which you are, is defined in some cases with very limiting conditions, i.e., in order for rape to occur, you have to forcibly penetrate someone with your genitals. In other areas, rape can be construed as any act of non-consensual sexual assault. And in some states at that, one could even consider consensual BDSM-style sex acts a form of rape, a form of sexual assault. So I think it's important to differentiate between when we talk predators and we all snicker and grimace and whatnot, what that actually entails, what that actually means. And I think what's important here is that generally when we're talking about predators, we're talking about people who use typically coercion. Hey, little feedback from last week. Yep.
Yeah.
Some coercion to basically convince people to engage in typically sex acts or kink play that they wouldn't otherwise consent to. So the use of coercion or social manipulation or emotional manipulation beyond the scope of a scene act, i.e., beyond us engaging in a discussion to say we're going to do this during a scene, and part of that scene is I'm going to emotionally abuse you, and you're going to get off on that, and we're going to do some, like you talked about, consensual non-consent play, rape play, and whatnot. I think it's a lot more specific in it's typically people, and it can be of any gender identity or whatnot, that purposefully attempt to manipulate someone during negotiations, during scene negotiations, to get them to do something that they don't want. That's just one example.
Yeah, non-consensual sexual assault would be another good one. I mean, we kind of focused on rape, but let's face it, I mean, there are kind of run-by gropings and people who get sexually assaulted in and at events. It's happened
Almost
within my
definitely.
household, too. When my ex got, literally had a run-by groper in the middle of the inferno.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, most definitely.
That's sexual assault right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they hide behind the anonymity of the community and the interest of the members of the community to remain anonymous, to not report them when they commit sexual assaults.
Mm-hmm. And what's really tricky is that, like I hinted at, in many states, the mere act of engaging in BDSM and the kink lifestyle, in and of itself, can be construed as assault. And what makes really that difficult is for someone to report a sexual assault or a rape or what not have you, while engaging in participation in that sort of community is very often, more often than not, sort of a catch-22. Because in order to report that crime was going on, one has to admit that they were engaged in, at least association with that particular scene. It's sort of like, the drug dealer who gets his drugs stolen while engaging in a drug deal, or gets his money stolen. Generally, that sort of thing is not going to get reported because of the mere act of association. I hate that I just equated us to, to drug dealers, but whatnot.
Well, you're using the metaphor that you have to essentially accuse yourself of doing something in order to accuse someone else of doing a worse thing.
Yep. It's tricky.
Self-incrimination.
Which is why you should write your local senators and politicians to legalize the right for men and women and every other gender fluidity out there to be able to beat the shit out of each other consensually whenever you want to.
Well, and you also have that fun of even in states where it can be considered legally acceptable to engage in BDSM practices, you also have individuals for whom it's not socially acceptable or professionally acceptable, depending on the job or their personal situation, and as such, their fear of exposure would prevent it.
That's another fun thing. Outing or blackmail predators, which are always amusing. So, I mean, that falls under the coercion category, i.e., if you don't suck my cock, or if you don't let me beat the shit out of you right now, I'm going to let your coworkers know, your family know, and expose a bunch of these pictures that I have of you naked with me fucking you in the ass to all those people. So get to sucking.
And that brings up another thing. Something I view that predators often have a tendency to do is revenge porn. That has become very popular in the younger generations, where all of this sexting and dirty pictures flying back and forth has become commonplace. The idea of revenge porn is a predatory act, in my opinion. That if you're going to break up with me or you're going to refuse sex with me, that I'm going to post these naked pictures of you. I personally have naked pictures of very, very many women, and I refuse to post any of them because I'm not a predator. I don't want to be seen as posting revenge porn.
Yeah, well, thankfully, I mean, there's recent case law, at least within the United States, around things involving case porn, specifically around the Hunter Moore case, the king of revenge porn. So luckily, there's at least some legal protections around that. But that sort of falls under the too little, too late. Once it's exposed, I mean, sure, you can have some legal ramifications to go after someone and whatnot, but that, once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah.
And let's face it, if you're pissed off enough to do that, you're pissed off enough to not be terribly concerned about the repercussions to yourself.
Yeah, I tell that to Hunter Moore when he was crying in the courtroom because he got sentenced to a substantial period of time. But that doesn't, of course, help his victims at all.
No,
but I'm just saying,
doesn't undo any of the damage he did at all.
Yeah, but now it's a lot more realistic to people that might engage in said activity.
It is, but realistically,
it probably won't change things too much.
It's much like the concept of murder and the concept of deterrent. As far as murder goes, you commit murder for three main reasons.
Yep.
You commit murder either for profit, for passion, or because you're compelled to. If you have a compulsion, if you're a serial killer, it doesn't matter what they're threatening you with. If it's passion, you're willing to put up with anything because you feel justified at the time, and you don't care what the results are.
Yep.
And if it's for profit, you're convinced that you've taken enough precautions to not be caught. So there is no real deterrent there.
And sir, you're really passionate about fapping to your nudie pics of all your conquests, right?
Oh, definitely. I'm not saying that I'm going to post any of those pics, but do I like to look at them? Yes.
With your penis.
With my penis. The one-eyed monster likes to stare.
And that is, a personal responsibility thing, is you have to understand that if you're going to make naked videos or sex videos or what have you, I mean, even if you're not talking about them going out on the internet or being exposed in that way, you have to realize that you might end up not being with this person anymore, and they're still going to have those pictures, they're still going to have those videos, and they can still fap to them. Exhibit A right here, Mr. Raven. So you got to kind of keep that in mind when you do this and take responsibility for your own actions in that matter. I mean, if you're going to make those videos, that's on you.
So circling back to the predator conversation,
Yeah.
Which is where this started. Protection from predators within the scene. What are generally some of your words of advice for how to identify predators, how to avoid them? What's your take?
Well, I feel as though having a very strong social network, a group of friends that you trust, that care about you, is the first step to protecting yourself against predators, because you can vet people through those people.
And you're looking for red flags.
Yep. And if any of your close personal contacts have any red flags about a certain person, they should be letting you know. Under more than one circumstance, I know that I have been vetted because, yes, I come across as brash.
Super rapey.
Yeah, I come across a little rapey, I will admit it.
It's because you have those puppy dog rapey eyes.
Oh. But, yes, I have no problem with anyone vetting me through any of their friends. And I will say that there are certain groups of people that definitely do not like me that will probably give a very, very bad reputation.
Well, who here at this table can't say the exact same thing? I mean, there are people that hate my guts. There are people that hate him.
I disagree. I'm a saint.
By the way, there will be an LSD haters group formed.
Oh, yeah. Please sign up outside, right next to the piss pot.
Run by Schittler. It will be Schittler's list.
Das sind mein Scheiße, bitte. But yes, having a close social group of people that you can turn to is probably one of the first precautionary things. If you're a total noob to an environment, to the lifestyle in and of itself, finding someone who is obviously trustworthy can sometimes be hard, especially if you are the token noob and everyone knows that you are a target for the predators.
I would fill in there and recommend that in the event that you are either relatively new to an area, new to kink in general, i.e. you don't know the playground you're playing in, I would highly recommend, just as a course of action and safety, to attend social gatherings, i.e. do research before you engage in pickup play.
Munches.
Generally a little bit safer that way. Go to Munches. Do some research online. Of course, don't trust everything you read on the internet, but at least do some research and be a smart, consenting adult who knows what they're getting into before you go diving into the Shark Tank.
And definitely talk to a lot of people. Don't just talk to one or two people and have them go, "Don't worry, you can trust me."
Yeah, fucking kinksters are like a bunch of high schoolers. There's so much random chunks of what do you call it, clicks and whatnot. So it's always good to get multiple takes on people within your social circle.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, even the cliques we have aren't really all that bad. If you think about it, like, we could be considered a clique.
Sure. There's a lot of cliques.
There's a lot of different cliques, and it's usually just people who have the same personality type grouping together. It's not necessarily like a true high school cliques where it's like, oh, fuck you, we're in a clique. Yeah. It's like you'll find a group of people that are probably the most like you, and that will end up being your more or less clique. It's not like the cliques don't hang out. It's not like the cliques don't talk to each other. It's not like the cliques treat each other like shit. We are cliquey, but we're not detrimentally cliquey, at least in this particular community. I have heard horror stories about other communities, though. Yep.
So, going back to something that came up when Sir was talking, red flags.
Meow.
Yeah, meow. What are some good red flags to keep an eye out for?
Oh, the most beautiful one to really work on is read up on abusive personalities and abusive red flags, because they're almost the exact same thing. I mean, you're looking for people that nobody likes. You're looking for people who want to isolate you and want to tell you not to talk to people. Not just like, oh, don't talk to that person, he's a little iffy, but like, no, you don't need to talk to anyone else, you're talking to me.
You're also looking for people that have a tendency to cycle through people socially, where if someone has a different significant other every week, then more than likely there's something going on that is keeping people at bay.
Maybe they're just poly.
Yeah, they could just be slutty.
Yeah.
Well,
we like
but
sluts. We like sluts.
Having a different fuck buddy every week is one thing. Having a different boyfriend, girlfriend, dom, or sub every week is a red flag. I mean...
And the thing is, remember, you're looking for a series of red flags. An individual red flag could just be an individual's personality. If you see someone that no one seems to be talking to, maybe that person just isn't social.
Maybe they smell funny.
If you talk to one person, they say they don't like so-and-so, talk to some other people and see if everybody doesn't like so-and-so before you make the decision that so-and-so is, in fact, a predator and someone you should avoid, when they might be someone very worthwhile that one person doesn't like. Again, we're reasonably decent people at this table, at least we like to think so, and there are a lot of people that would agree with us, but there are also people out there that would tell you we're horrible, evil people.
Well, Yeah.
Yeah.
But not in
Yeah.
the good way, not in the fun way.
Right.
Oh.
You know, again, there's a huge difference between having a somewhat predatory personality and actually being a predator. It comes up a lot, usually with sadists, especially because, you know, they are sadists. And they tend to operate more or less, not necessarily outside of the community, but outside of the herd, which is the same place predators are.
I don't know, man. I've encountered sub or bottom predators as well.
Which,
it is
honestly,
possible.
I have not. I've encountered manipulative, self-centered subs.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure I would really call them predatory.
Oh, I would.
Well, your experiences are also probably different than mine.
Yeah. I have not personally been affected by them, but I have definitely noticed them within the community.
How do they act?
So usually, I mean, they're obviously, so, you know, a predator by their very nature is someone who is attempting to coerce someone to get what they want, right? That is usually counter to either the best interests of the other individual, or, you know, against something, against their beliefs, against something that they would normally do, right? So a sub that is a predator or a bottom that's a predator, in terms of how that functions, usually it is through emotional or mental manipulation to convince the sub to, or convince the top or whatnot to take care of their needs or fulfill their needs when it's really not in the best interest of the person. I think that is just as predator-like as somebody that is attempting to, you know, hunt somebody down for sexual predatory gratification.
Well, and what do you think is the harm that a predator presents to the community at large as opposed to just individuals?
Yeah. Well, aside from the fact that, you know, like you said, to just individuals, it obviously is extremely detrimental to, you know, the person that they affect. There's always, you know, there's also the potential that it's going to attract unwanted law enforcement. You know, we've definitely heard stories about how, you know, predators attracted unwanted attention towards the scene, and all of a sudden you've got cops showing up at the front door of your play party while a bunch of people are tied up in the bedroom and there's blood everywhere. That's never a good thing. You know, there's unwanted legal attention involving, you know, lawsuits and people's name getting dragged into the public eye as a result of, you know, a play party or community being exposed.
Especially when individuals involved can actually have places within the community.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Say someone is a lawyer or a judge or law enforcement themselves, and this is their social life. It's all consensual, but suddenly their name gets dragged through the mud and they lose their job. Mm-hmm. Or in the case that someone is a teacher at a school or a coach for a sports team, and they lose their position because somebody outed them.
Mm-hmm. Good God, there was that one teacher who lost her job because they found out she was a model. Not even a nude model, just a model.
Yep.
I mean, she had never done anything more risque than a swimsuit shoot, but they considered her incapable of teaching because of that.
Mm-hmm. The risk that her students might find the pictures and fap to them.
Indeed.
It's hard to learn your geography lessons from, you know, a teacher that you want to beat off to.
We will take a short commercial break and be right back in a minute.
I say, Reginald.
Yes, what is it, Percy?
Will we be partaking of some libation once we venture homeward?
Indeed we shall, Percy, indeed we shall.
Well, what's on offer, then?
I've recently procured charred oak from Yahara Bay.
I say, isn't that the spirits that Samuel speaks so highly of at the club?
Hence the acquisition. I propose we sample this election until we lose motor function in our lower extremities.
Why, that's a capital idea.
Charred oak from Yahara Bay. For God's sake, drink responsibly. Use a glass.
Hi, everybody. This is Atticus here. Now, I know every time you hear my cute little voice, you just expect me to start going off about something or another that's climbed up my ass. Well, not this time, girls. I want to talk about assholes in general. You know who my favorite assholes are? The crew from Shots from the Balcony. Oh, they're just fantastic. It's a show starring assholes. talking about asshole things because they're assholes. And whenever you get that many assholes together in one room, oh, girlfriend, the heart quickens just thinking about it. Oof, I swear. So if you're not listening to Shots from the Balcony right here on the Bad Habits Network, oh my God, the next thing that crawled up my ass is going to be my anger at you. I'm not kidding here. I'm super, super serious that you just need to check these people out. They are so fierce. And any man that puts a cigar in his mouth, you know that's just an invitation to me, girls. And it's just an added bonus that they're almost always drinking. You know, so many guys out there, they're really just bisexuals, just add alcohol. So next time you want to think about a bunch of manly men doing manly things, talking about all their manliness, a show that just is completely inundated with assholes, you gotta check out my favorite show. That's right, Shots from the Balcony. I've got some shots to give them.
Hello, this is the Lord for the Lord's Asylum, right here on the Bad Habits Network. The Lord's Asylum is a kink-based podcast featuring stories, comedy sketches, and interviews from the kink lifestyle, brought to you by the Lord from Lord, Sir, and Daddy Radio. The intention is to educate through entertainment, so join me, my friends, and my alter egos, and get committed to the Lord's Asylum on the Bad Habits Network. If you're in southern Wisconsin or northern Illinois, or you just feel like traveling to meet fun-loving kinksters, check out the Janesville Area Dirty Little Freaks. The Janesville Area Dirty Little Freaks, or JADL for short, is a monthly munch, play party, group focusing on community and education. There is no cost to be part of the group, and we welcome new people. Check us out on FetLife in the Janesville Area Dirty Little Freaks group. You can get more details and learn all our rules. We look forward to hearing from you. Must be 18 or over to join FetLife or JADL. Lunch is held at a restaurant and JADL does not provide the food there. If you've previously been banned, it's for a good reason, so you're still banned. The promoters and operators of JADL reserve the right to ban anyone. Check out the group rules and descriptions for more details. If you're not actually listening to this part, I don't blame you. No douchebags.
My word, Reginald, where has your wife gotten to?
I sent her out. We've run out of charred oak, sir.
Well, how the bloody hell did that happen again?
Usual method, of course. We open the bottle.
Well, why don't you simply send a servant? Why must your wife go?
Because, old man, I wanted the bottles to make it back, of course.
So you're saying your wife doesn't drink? Is she some sort of teetotaler?
Oh, God, no. Drinks like a fish. Especially charred oak.
Then how can you trust her to get the bottles home?
Elementary, really. I made her leave the glassware at home.
Why can't she just drink from the bottle?
Because, man, our family is a fucking high-class family. We don't do that sort of thing.
Well, what's to stop the woman from picking up glassware while she's out?
Oh, bloody bollocks. I hadn't thought of that. Damn the itinerant alcoholic.
What say we simply venture to Yahara Bay ourselves and acquire our own spirits?
Indeed, old man. That's a fantastic idea. Fetch the glassware.
Charred oak at Yahara Bay. Just get your own damn bottle.
And we're back! And our topic is predators. Where were we?
I think we were talking about fapping, right?
We were talking about fapping to a teacher. So,
Yeah.
But back to that point about the original point on the subject before Raven's mind takes him too far away, which is that they can cause damage to individuals and they can cause damage to the community. Now, have you ever had any experience or knowledge of any of the predators trying to attack events?
Oh, yeah.
I have. I personally had some experience where an individual decided that my presence at a play party was a form of harassment against them and notified law enforcement that I was there specifically to harass them when that was not the case. And that drew unnecessary attention. Mm-hmm. And that was a form of manipulation that
But I was referring more to harm to the events, as opposed to harm to your ability to go to the events.
Oh, it didn't harm my ability to go to the event, but it very well could have harmed the event itself. Had the police actually shown up and seen what was happening at said event, the place could very well have been shut down, and that would have caused a lot of dismay.
Yeah, I mean, there's other examples, especially locally, where unnamed people may or may not have alerted the police that, I believe it was, the initial claim was, prostitution was going on in an event, and obviously there was no prostitution going on at the play party, but I believe the claim to the law enforcement officials was there's prostitution going on in said location, purely to elicit a law enforcement raid on the location. Which, granted, there's no prostitution going on, but it's not like that has, stopped law enforcement that have crashed in on a party like that before from, arresting people under assumption. Or at the very least, it disrupts people because now you have to, expose a whole bunch of people to, LEOs and, have the disruption of law enforcement being in your party, which typically is going to shut your party down, and all of the eventual fallout from that. I mean, that's extremely disruptive, and it doesn't even necessarily have to involve someone doing something that they shouldn't. It could be purely a threat.
Yeah, no, and that is the thing is with that kind of blackmail, it doesn't even actually have to occur. It just has to be threatened that it could occur. Yep. And then that's enough that they can force their way into events or shut events down.
Yeah, that's a totally another additional item is the whole I'm going to turn you in if you don't let me attend this party. I think that's almost as disruptive, if not more, than the actual threat being carried out. Because granted, if the threat gets carried out, it's disruptive and it sucks. But usually it's that one thing and it's over with. Whereas somebody blackmails their way and makes the threat of exposure to get into an event. Now not only do we have the threat of exposure that they still may carry out anyways, but now we have said predator attending events, which may scare away legitimate non-predators. Yeah. It may scare away, people that are new to the scene. Heaven help us if, they actually go and do something and assault someone at a party after blackmailing their way in, because now the person who let them in is potentially considered complicit, since they had, previous knowledge of that. I mean, there's a whole mess of legal issues you can get involved in purely because of the power that, predators in many cases hold over the individuals that they're targeting.
Well, that, and even when a predator does blackmail their way into an event and as such goes to the event, then the promoter also has to deal with anything that offends said predator, can shut the event down, because it's not even a matter of whether or not they can go. It's if they go and something offends them, they don't care. They'll shut an event down. But anyway, no, all it takes is for them to get offended at an event to turn around and shut it down anyway, even after they've been allowed to go. And it's like, how do you facilitate someone like that, get them in the event without them causing harm and without them being offended to the point where they're going to cause harm to the entire event?
Chainsaw and a body bag.
Unfortunately, that's technically A, illegal, and B, constitutes, even if you just say doing it, communicating a threat.
Bah!
Humbug.
Yep. I don't know. Chainsaw, body bag, bathtub. Problem solved. No, seriously.
55-gallon drum full of lies.
Delicious. Then you can make some, some human lutefisk.
Siri, where's the nearest
pig
farm?
Too serious. Where's the nearest pig farm? Boop, boop. Right next door.
I say, Reginald.
Yes, what is it, Percy?
Will we be partaking of some libation once we venture homeward?
Indeed we shall, Percy, indeed we shall.
Well, what's on offer, then?
I've recently procured charred oak from Yahara Bay.
I say, isn't that the spirits that Samuel speaks so highly of at the club?
Hence the acquisition. I propose we sample the selection until we lose motor function in our lower extremities.
Why, that's a capital idea.
Charred oak from Yahara Bay. For God's sake, drink responsibly. Use a glass.
But no, exposure. Exposure works really well. As
This is
far
part
as
of the show where we have exposure.
whip it out.
I was naked when you got here.
But exposure works really well for getting rid of predators because they don't want to be exposed.
So if I wiggle my dick at a predator, they'll run away?
Not exposing yourself to predators, exposing them as predators.
Yep.
Oh, so if I pull their penises out and wiggle it around, then they won't come back.
Well, depending on the predator, they might actually enjoy that.
Damn it.
I know, that's the problem. And also that's where event facilitators communicating amongst themselves comes in really handy, because then someone calls a problem at one event, then they can be made aware of for every other event.
So I was going to ask, while we're talking about predators and all the horrible things they can do,
Yep.
and how we can't stick them in a 55-gallon drum and chop them up and cover them in lye.
And leave them in the bathtub.
Preferably leave them in the bathtub or the pig farm. How can we deal with predators within the scene?
Well, like I said, exposure is a great way. Observation is another wonderful way. That way, if it looks like they're kind of, predator's favorite food, of course, is going to be the new person.
I thought it was people.
No, it's always the new person. Think about it. Predator doesn't want to go after someone that will realize they're a predator. They want to go after someone that they can intimidate and impress.
I was talking about cannibal predators.
You would.
Whatever.
But, and so keeping an eye on them and the people they're talking to so that you can actually go up to these people that may not know any better and let them know, this person has a history, it is not a good one. Now, admittedly, there's a gray area here because a lot of predators have bullshit pasts of things they didn't really do or that were never confirmed. So the important thing is, if you go up to someone and say, I know you're getting involved with so-and-so, or they're talking to you, when you say, this person has done these things, make damn sure you're right. Mm-hmm. Make damn sure you're accurate.
Otherwise you have potential libel issues.
Yep. But there's also the concept of approaching a new person going, I've known this person for a while, I've watched their actions, I'm not going to tell you anything specific, because I don't feel comfortable telling you anything specific, but you should watch out for these actions and be wary.
Well, and it's easy to forget, but we have to remember that when we're talking to these people, there are no children at these events. These are adults.
There's adults that act like children.
They have to be responsible for their own actions and their own decisions. What our responsibility would be as members of the community with a feeling of responsibility to the community is merely to make sure that they can make the most informed decision they can.
That's why warning them, hey, I've seen this person do some shady shit. Be aware that they might try to do some shady shit.
But
they can make their own informed decision based on their own observations, but at least they have a heads up that there's a red flag.
But again, the important risk is if you say so-and-so has done these things, make sure you know damn well that they did, because if you're just passing along hearsay and it's false and it's falsifiable, if the predator can prove, no, that didn't happen, here's evidence, because you were just saying something that was bullshit that someone else made up,
the rumor mill,
then all you've done is prove that you were probably lying to this person and the predator is probably being honest. So you've got to make sure when you're approaching that you're only talking about things you have firsthand knowledge of.
And even then you still have to be careful. Because,
Well, and you don't want to just wander around randomly slamming people because you don't like them either. I mean, there are a number of people wandering around the community I don't like. Mm-hmm. I don't like what they do, and I don't like how they do it. But I know they're not predators. I just don't like what they do, and I don't like how they do it. I don't like who they are as people. And I would never do jack shit to interfere with anything they had going on. If they wanted to talk to a new person, maybe the new person's interested in what they're doing, great, go for it, have fun, because that's not my responsibility. I have stepped in with individuals that I know have caused personal, legal, false harm to other members of the community, false reporters. Mm-hmm. I have stepped in on false reporters and made sure people knew who they were dealing with because I had firsthand knowledge of that individual as a false reporter. And that is real, serious, honest-to-God legal harm I had firsthand knowledge of.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit. Scheiße.
Wasn't that his line?
That was supposed to be the German's line.
That is my line, but you can share it. I like to share my shit with everyone.
Woohoo! Speaking of sharing shit with people, let's talk about scat play.
Are we done with shitting on predators? Now we can talk about shit in general?
We can possibly.
Coprophilia!
I love coprophilia. I don't really love... I mean, I do.
It's ingrained.
It's ingrained. It's at the genetic level at this point.
There's shit in your genes.
Yep. So...
Just like I love chocolate coins and bagels. It's just ingrained, man.
Yeah. So the word of the episode, for all of you kids playing at home and who want to be edumacated by LSD radio, the word of the episode is coprophilia. Repeat after me.
Coprophilia.
So coprophilia, per the very definition, since I love my Wikipedia articles, actually per the dictionary, coprophilia is an absorbing interest in feces or filth, particularly a paraphilia in which sexual arousal or activity is linked to feces. So for all of you shit lovers out there, my hats
Essentially
off.
the Germans.
Well, it's not just limited to the Germans. Let's not be too...
No, but let's face it, if you're go with the capital, you know?
Oh, yeah, well, we are the
home of Shiza porn.
We are the home of Shiza porn. Yep. So, yeah, coprophilia.
Which can include just about anything from the Alabama Hot Pocket to the Cleveland Steamroller, Cleveland Steamer.
Yep. Glass bottom boat.
Glass bottom boat.
Yep.
All of these are examples of scat play. Not something that I personally partake in, but being an avid fan of anal sex, shit happens.
Shit does happen.
So I'm not completely unaware of the scat play.
Well, I mean, shit happens for you. Do you actually play in it? You ever wipe your poopy dick on her butt cheeks or smack her in the face with it?
I don't smack her in the face with it, but if I'm like mid-scene and there happens to be a
blowout,
I don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't stop till I'm done, and
Yeah.
we'll take a shower.
Sure. It's important.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yes, the scat of the hour. Let's talk a little bit about different kinds of scat.
Oh, in different types of scat, like different types of poop, or do you mean different types of coprophilia or scat play?
Let's talk about different types of coprophilia.
Because I don't think we want to talk about the varying types of poo that exist out there.
If we wanted to do about that, this would be a health episode.
Biology show.
This would be a health episode as to what you should look out for.
The liquidy poops versus the green chunky poops.
Actually, there's pretty much always a risk whenever you're playing with poop.
Oh yes, there's 100% risk whenever you're playing with poop. So I don't know. Talking about the different forms of coprophilia, it can range anything from... So it depends on if you're the kind of person who likes just poop in general, if you're the kind of person who likes only your own poop, or if you're the kind of person who enjoys, playing in scats with other individuals. There's a wide range of scat-related activities one can engage in. Anything ranging from poop finger painting to poop eating, or coprophagia. Some of you with animals that eat their own shit might be familiar with that. But yeah, there's a wide range of different types of play. I don't necessarily engage in them. I may be a little fascinated with poop, but that's a little outside of my kink realm.
Well, there is a difference between things that actually sexually turn you on and things that you just find fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's draw that distinction right there. I mean, you don't have to really be like, oh, I just want to play with poop, to be like, I am just fascinated by the people who want to play with poop.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting in the late 90s or early 2000s that scat made several forms of media in different movies and radio shows and things like that.
Fox News.
Where things were mentioned. There's one particular movie that, yes, it was a spoof movie, but they brought a Cleveland steamer into the conversation. And, of course, probably the majority of people out there went, wait a second, I don't know what that is. And as soon as they described taking a dookie on someone's chest, sitting on it, and rolling back and forth to squish it flat, suddenly real people knew what scat play was.
Now I'm kind of curious, which movie are you referring to? Because it's not the one I was thinking of.
I'm not sure I can mention movies or other forms of media due to copyright infringement, but I'll tell you after the show.
Well, actually, technically,
you can mention names.
We can reference the name of the movie. We just can't play a
totally.
quote from it.
Oh,
Technically,
fantastic.
under fair use, we could play quotes. We just can't play the whole
Fantastic.
segment.
Yeah, it has to be 8 seconds, I think it is.
It was one of those high school movies that
Not another teenage movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish sometimes
They didn't actually mention rolling in it by my
they just mentioned
recollection.
chest shitting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they mentioned pooping on someone's
Why
chest.
won't anyone ever take a poop on my chest?
Yep.
Exactly. So, yes, it came out into the limelight for a
Apparently,
short
your
time.
Cleveland steamer's a little bit more involved than most other people's Cleveland steamers.
Well, the definition of a Cleveland steamer is that you
Shit on
shit on
someone's
them,
chest.
and then you sit on it and act like a steamroller and flatten it with your butt cheeks by rolling back and forth. Look it up.
Wouldn't that be a Cleveland steamroller, not a
That's a
Cleveland
Cleveland
steamer?
steamroller. A Cleveland steamer is simply defecation on someone's chest, i.e. their
Taking a
cleavage,
steaming crap.
and the mere fact that the poo is warm and it steams is the steaming part.
Oh.
These are important distinctions.
Well, then there's the chili dog where you actually have sex with the titties while the poop's there.
Yep.
And use it as lube.
Yep. There's also other variants of that where you shit in someone's vagina and then fuck it.
Hot Pocket. Or is that Hot Carl?
No. Hot Carl is, well, yeah.
I could have swore the Alabama Hot Pocket. You take a dookie
Yes,
in the vagina
correct.
and then you fuck it.
Yep, correct. Correct.
And then a hot lunch is where you take saran wrap and put it over the person's mouth, creating a void inside the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then you defecate in it and then fuck the shit. And as you're about to ejaculate, you break through the saran wrap, giving them your ejaculate and the fecal matter, giving them a nice hot lunch.
Oh, yeah. Delicious. Yep.
Yeah, it figures. You guys keep looking at me like, now tell us about your experiences and knowledge on this subject. I'm like, I'm a sick fucker, but there are certain limits, like involuntary personal protein spills or even voluntary personal protein spills don't interest me either. There's a certain limit to the number of bodily fluids that I find fun. Like, I will paint and draw with blood. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
I agree.
I've got designs on how to do that, but the idea of finger painting with shit is really, it's more of a German thing.
Well, I mean,
Marquis de Sade, he wrote on the walls of his solitary confinement after they stripped him naked and gave him nothing to write with. He wrote with shit on in the walls.
Okay, let's be honest. Marquis de Sade is not exactly a role model.
oh,
I never said he was.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's our role model.
No, because Marquis de Sade was really big into involuntary, non-consent sort of things. That's kind of the major issue that most sadists have with being referred to as sadists, because it's after the Marquis de Sade. And
Potato.
yeah, well, but I like my consent.
I think we can all agree that we like our consent.
Yep.
And other people's.
Yeah.
I love
That's
how there was a
important.
pause there. Like, oh yeah, I guess other people.
yeah, wait, that's important. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They exist too.
I mean, I consent to
I've heard
do all
about it.
sorts of fucked up shit all the time.
Right.
It's kind of important that I guess the other person
You're
agrees.
German. I hate to keep bringing that up, but I mean, it's like you keep saying this stuff like it's not already explained when we said you're German. We know all of these things.
I know.
You're Schittler.
Jawohl.
Schittler's fist.
The Jews are always so obsessed with my obsessions. So yeah, so that's our poo discussion.
And for anyone who wants to do interesting posts or graffiti, poop in Morse code is dot dash dash dot dash 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 dot dash dash dot.
The more you know. So now, when you're eventually trapped in that cell that the predator has locked you in, and you need to take a poopy, now you know what to tap. Now you know what to tap on the walls.
And how to write.
What's up next?
Well, I want to do a small segment of Shut Your Hole. Today on Shut Your Hole, we will be talking about super glue, everyone's favorite bonding agent. Originally developed as a medical Band-Aid during wartime, it was to bond skin together as an emergency suture and or Band-Aid. But it can have fun uses, such as supergluing labia shut, supergluing lips shut. Well, these things may seem very risky, but in all reality, saliva and vaginal fluids dissolve superglue in 20 to 30 minutes.
Not that we would recommend that you go drink a gallon of it.
Oh, no, not for internal use. Don't shove it inside.
Anywhere.
Don't drink it. But using it on the lips, I've found personally that using nail polish glue, which is super glue in a small container, with a brush, makes for easy application for wounds or her gash or wherever else you see fit. But Shut Your Hole, sponsored by, I can't really say Gorilla because I don't trust Gorilla Glue to dissolve. But Super Glue, Dermabond, any form of instant bondage.
And just a reminder to all our listeners at home, don't try this shit. We're just talking about it. Seriously.
That was in our disclaimer.
Yeah, unless you're like the gentleman from South Africa that was recently arrested. I don't know if he's been convicted yet, but was arrested of pouring super glue into his wife's vagina after he found out that she was sleeping with her uncle. It was that or get her head cut off. I don't know. Take your pick.
I'm not really sure where that one sits. I mean, she was sleeping with her own uncle, but really pouring a bunch of super glue into her vagina? And does it say that it was actually super glue? Because if it was epoxy, that shit doesn't dissolve.
Oh, no. It was specifically super glue.
Ah.
Yep. Yeah, epoxy would be bad. She'd have a nice, big old, gummy, gluey, permanent vagina inverted cast.
Yeah. Yeah, they're no getting that shit out.
Mm.
Well, in theory, eventually she would slough the skin anyway. It would just take a while.
Out of
Now,
the
if you
inside of their
close
vagina?
the urethra, that would be another story. And that was an alarm to let us know absolutely nothing. But no, if you close up her urethra, that would be a whole nother story.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're horrible.
No, with the wrecking of chips, I'm not. Yet another logical rebuttal.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm here for.
And we just heard from Daddy's stomach.
Through its broadcast system.
So, speaking of in the news,
Ooh.
I've got another in the news item.
Fantastic.
Ooh, news
Current
us.
events.
So, did anybody hear about the gentleman that was recently wanted for apparently fapping to completion in a Waffle House?
On a waffle?
No, I don't think he actually fapped on a waffle or even used any breakfast implements to actually jerk himself off.
Was he a customer or an employee?
Employee. That's the best part. So apparently, said individual was one of two employees in a Waffle House. There were no customers inside. It was some female waitress and then this gentleman. And apparently he announced to her that he was going to go pleasure himself and walked, over into one of the diner areas. She was apparently talking on the phone at this point and didn't believe him that he was going to actually go and start jerking it. So a couple seconds go by and she finishes her conversation on the phone. She walks over to determine whether or not, he was just bullshitting or not. And lo and behold, he's sitting in a booth and occasionally getting up and walking around while jerking himself off, while beating his meat. To completion, mind you. So after that, he apparently fled and is now wanted for public indecency. So thoughts? Would you ever masturbate in a Waffle House?
I would, but I would make sure that I was alone in the stall.
And not inform the staff. Like, hey, by the way, just so you guys know, I'm going to go jerk off. And not to mention the fact that of all the things you're going to run from, that's just a silly thing to be on the lam from. That's better just to go in, face it. I mean, if you happen to shoot someone or run someone over, I may not agree with that, but at least it kind of makes sense. It's like, yes, you're running for your life. Whereas public indecency, especially if you're just so stupid that you masturbate in public in the first place at a Waffle House and then tell everyone about it, I mean, why run? I mean, that's like one of the most horrible things you can possibly be on the run for.
I don't know, man. He's, should he get caught and convicted, he's going to have to register as a sex offender. That ranks him right up there with, kid touchers.
Yeah, but the problem is whenever you have a crime that severe, they're going to put your face up all over the place, especially if you're wanted.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I mean,
I don't think he's going to make the top 10 most wanted list. I mean, that'd be pretty impressive.
For fapping in a Waffle House, he makes the top 10.
Unless he's a serial fapper.
No, but still,
Get it?
But still, it's a sex crime.
It is a sex crime.
Media loves sex crimes. They'll be happy to put his face up all over everything. Sexual criminal at large. They don't even have to say what the fuck he did. It doesn't matter what he did at that point. It's just that he's a sexual criminal at large.
Yep.
You know, it's like, great, you got now not only on the run from a crime, but your picture is now plastered up all over Kingdom Come. Where are you going to go?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? What's your big plan at that point?
He's going to become a serial fapper. Yeah.
And
I have a feeling we're going to see more of this happening soon.
I mean, basically, his only hope is to dress like a clown and run up and down a bridge, screaming at everyone that the Raptors are coming to take him away, and hope he can get off on an insanity plea. Which, by the way, in case anyone's got the bright idea to try to do an insanity plea, it works in less than 1% of cases. FYI.
Is that 1% of cases involving fapping in a Waffle House, or...?
No, usually the problem with insanity is it's very hard to prove. There is no more temporary insanity, by the way. There's no, well, I was temporarily insane. It's like, no, you're either insane or you're not. And if you are insane, it's very, very rare, and, you know, it's not going to work. You're fucked. I mean, just, at that point, face the music, take whatever you got to take, and God help you try to get on with your life. But running from it, it's just like, great, you just went from doing something really horribly stupid that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life to doing something really horribly stupid that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life, and everybody gets to know about it now. I mean, when you make the news, you make the news.
Well, you know, it is one hell of a way to make the news.
Yeah. There's so many better ways, though.
Yeah, you could have fapped at McDonald's on the kiddie sled.
No, at that point, it's like, no, screw fapping at the Waffle House. Like, bang some girl across a table at the Waffle House. I mean, at least then you've got a good story.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, oh, what are you in for? I was jerking off at the Waffle House. And then I ran, and they put my picture up everywhere, and my mom called and told them who I was. You know, there's so many better ways to get caught doing something sexually stupid.
So what you're saying is that you're grossly disappointed in his Waffle House hijinks.
I am.
Yep. So that's my news article.
I'm severely disappointed that streakers and public urinators can actually be charged as sexual offenders and can be put on the sex offender registry.
Depending on the state, yeah. I know someone from down in Florida who got drunk one night, decided to piss on the side of the bar as he was going out, and the cops happened to drive by, and lo and behold, he got arrested for public urination, and now he is a sex offender and has to, be registered and notified.
Well, but at least with people like that, I mean, like there is actually a public context, because the movie Horrible Bosses, there was a guy who actually, one of the characters was in the same situation. He was in a bar, left, drunk off his ass, pissed next door to the bar, right next to the bar, where there was a playground, but because it was a playground, it was considered a sex offense that he was publicly urinating in a playground.
Yep.
And so at least with something like that, it's like you have a correlation you can draw, like to kind of separate
tell
yourself.
that to the guys who pissed in public and now have to go register as a sex offender and have to announce that, in public, and can no longer live anywhere near schools, and the stigma that comes along with it. Yeah.
Well,
there's a whole other topic of conversation that we could drone on and on for quite some time, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and
don't piss outside on someone else's property, and don't fap in the Waffle House. Those are your takeaways for tonight.
I mean, fuck yeah. I mean, oddly enough, doesn't it seem like those sorts of things should be sort of common sense?
Common sense ain't so common.
I know, but it's just, it hurts my head. It's like, logic. How logical is it? Like, obviously the guy fapping in the middle of a Waffle House, I think, has a decent insanity plea. I'm not saying he'd get away with it. I'm just saying there's a decent argument to be made that he's too fucked
I disagree.
up.
I don't think
Who
he
the hell
went far
faps in a
enough.
Waffle House?
I don't think he went far enough. If he fapped in the Waffle House with a waffle iron and then followed up by finishing off in the milkshakes,
waffle iron,
fucking twat waffles, man.
You're just.
But if he had actually finished in the milkshake and then attempted to serve it to someone, that I think would have been a little bit closer to insanity. just I really have a compulsory need to start beating my meat, and I just happen to be, at work. Whatever.
By the way, just to change the subject a little bit here and go off on a minor tangent, as I'm presuming most of the people who are going to be listening to this know, our first show is already out. It actually just came out today, and we are recording on the same day that the first show came out. And I am texting right now with the diva, the electric diva on Fat Life, who is telling me that, he is sick as a dog right now at home, but he is just laughing himself stupid listening to the first podcast. So we are officially diva approved.
I feel the need to shock someone's balls right now. I don't know why.
I have my stun gun if the Jew wants to volunteer.
Yeah. Want to get circumcised again by electricity?
Too late, but, hey, I'll shock you. If you really just want to get some ball shocking going on.
How about we do it simultaneously?
What are you talking about simultaneously? I'll just shock you.
I have 2 stun guns.
Yeah.
I want to see this happen. The German versus the Jew with stun guns.
Yeah.
GVJ.
Yep. Can I powder you down in powdered sugar first?
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's a little more authentic then.
Yeah, but the risk is you'd want to lick it off, you sick bastard.
Well, Jews taste good.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when they're fresh out of the oven.
Nothing like that fresh baked kosher taste.
Back to barbecue.
Back to barbecue.
Now we're on barbecue.
What's next?
Well, let's see. We've done Shut Your Hole. We've talked about shit. Figuratively and literally.
We've talked about predators.
Ooh, yes, predators. Again, any fapping that has happened during the show, it has been simulated fapping. On to our PDA, our poll the audience. Anyone who has been following us on Lord Sir Daddy on Facebook or Lord Sir Daddy on Twitter. We've yet to get any emails at lordsirdaddyradio@gmail.com.
Oh, for God's sake, our show only just came out. Give them some time here, man.
Hey, we've got plenty of psycho listeners.
Yeah, I know. Most of them are on FetLife, and they're responding in the group. I mean,
but yes, today on Poll the Audience, scat play.
Oh, shit.
I bet we're going to get a lot of responses on this one.
If you were in Shiza porn, what terrible act would you be affiliated with? Giving or receiving does not matter. What act would you be affiliated with? The Cleveland Steamer, the Hot Lunch, the Alabama Hot Pocket, or finger painting?
Sounds good to me.
And my pet is just shaking her head like I am a sick, sick bastard.
I hope that's not chocolate milk you're drinking.
You're a foul beast.
Yes, we've discussed this. Mm-hmm. And he knows.
Yeah, this time I didn't have spicy fish tacos this time. Instead, I had spicy burrito.
What is it with you eating spicy food before the show?
I like to torture you guys.
Well, you don't have to do all that. You're here.
One day
That's
your
enough.
comeuppance will arrive.
One day your uppance will come.
It shall be blessed and beautiful.
And brutal.
And brutal.
Yeah, it's usually the day after when my asshole blisters a little.
Hey, maybe we can talk to my ex and get her to make some more of that goulash that actually turned most male humans into WMDs. No, we gave it to Sir, and he used it on others. Weren't you banned from eating that at work after that one time?
Yes. and she threw out the last bit of it that I was saving. It was in the freezer. She asked what it was. I told her, and she's like, "None of that! Garbage!"
Was it foul?
I don't...
No, she threw out the whole Tupperware. She didn't bother to check it.
No, I'm saying, was the after effects foul?
Oh, God, yeah.
I'm going to go with sure. I think I blocked it out of my memory.
I think his ass juices may have, wiped some memories out.
I
eroded my gray matter.
I had some. I cleared the living room, and not just of the humans. I mean, like, the pets walked out of the room.
Did you peel paint?
One of my cats literally just walked by, gave me a dirty look, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then just kept walking right out of the room. like all the pets left. That's why we gave the rest to Raven.
My old dog Luna would have been like, can I get up in there? Like, can I get some more of that?
That's because your dog likes Scheisse porn.
She was a chocolate lab.
Ah.
Her name was Poopa Doopa.
Yeah, she likes her own batch.
She was into
Pooper
cockroach.
duper.
There we go. A dog after my own heart.
Well, yeah.
I think she was German.
German chocolate lab.
It's a German chocolate.
She was really dark brown too.
Yeah.
So yeah, she was a German chocolate lab for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, get it.
Way to open that
Are you
can
trying
in
to
a
squeeze
somewhat
one
quiet
out, sir,
manner.
or you had a look of pain and determination on your face.
He's trying to pinch one off.
That's what I think.
Anyway, so
Anyway.
what else did we want to discuss?
The question for the evening.
We have a question. Ooh,
Yeah.
shiny. I like
Let me check our big laundry list of questions. This one's wholly appropriate. So I think the question for the evening is going to be, how do you feel about legalized prostitution?
Well, Nevada's
Sir?
made a go of it.
To a certain extent.
Yeah,
in
but how do
certain
you
regions.
feel about
How do
it?
you feel about it?
How do I feel about
Yeah,
it?
do you think prostitution should be legalized countrywide?
I think as long as it's monitored properly and done well, it can very
Like a training program.
We're going to legalize prostitution, but it has to be horrible, sloppy, and only last like 30 seconds at a go.
So, in other words, like usual for you there, Shitler.
Exactly.
Yeah, Shetler. That.
So yes, if the brothels are maintained and cleaned better than the local spank shack in the back of the porn store, and all of the prostitutes are tested regularly, and
Prostitutes!
the sleuths out there get tested regularly,
The slatin.
and of course protection is provided under all scenarios.
Who would it be provided by?
Well, personally, I believe the house should be the ones that provide the protection. Condoms are fairly cheap, especially if you go to places like Planned Parenthood that give away thousands of them every year.
Do you think they should be provided by the state if the state is the one that is realizing tax money off of it?
Fuck no.
I personally don't believe the state should be providing the prophylactics.
But the state's going to derive a benefit off of it.
Well, of course they are.
Obviously, it's going to be taxed to hell.
Of course, prostitution's going to be taxed to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's got to make. Uncle Sam's got to have his cut of that pussy,
Yep.
or ass, or mouth, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But by no means should the government actually be supplying the prophylactics. That is
Would
that
you
is
really
a cost
trust them
of.
to? I mean, think about it. Have you ever put government in front of something and been happy with the results?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want government condoms.
Yep. Yeah.
Sandpaper.
Sandpaper. That could be kind of fun. Is that on the inside or out?
Both.
Ooh, yeah.
I was thinking more like, well, to ensure protection, we have to make sure these condoms are 1/4 of an inch thick. You know,
Yeah. That's what I'm talking
let's
about.
face it, these are not going to be dual pleasure condoms.
Okay, so that's your take. You're for it.
Totally.
How about you?
I'm going to quote the late, great George Carlin. Selling is legal, fucking is legal. Why isn't selling fucking legal? Why is it illegal to sell something that's perfectly legal to give away?
Yeah.
That's
True
pretty
enough.
much my take on it. I couldn't imagine myself ever actually going and purchasing the services of a prostitute, but that doesn't mean that there shouldn't be prostitutes. It shouldn't be a legalized profession. And honestly, I'm more of a socially conscious individual, and I look at it as one way or another, we have a group of prostitutes in every city, and they're underserved, underprotected, and they are under constant threat because what they're doing has been made illegal.
Extremely high risk.
And the fact of the matter is, it is the oldest profession. Prostitutes have been around in every culture from the beginning of time and beginning of recorded history. We have had prostitutes, pretending that we can just go, well, we've decided prostitution is illegal and therefore it will go away, doesn't work. Shaming prostitutes doesn't work. Shaming Johns doesn't really work. The prostitutes are still there. They're still doing their job. It's obviously, at least to some people, an everyday action. And when you take an everyday action and make it illegal, you make everyday people into criminals.
Oh, yeah. Technically, Eve was a prostitute because, Adam paid her with a rib.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, but going back to that whole thing, like, do you know the whole story?
Meh. I don't really care.
Eve was round 2.
Oh, yeah.
The first one was Lilith.
Yeah, she's a whore.
Well, yeah. No, she became a whore afterwards. All she wanted was equal authority to Adam.
Potato.
And then she was cast out in the land of Nod and banged everything that moved, and, hence we have all the monsters in the world.
Potato.
But, and then Eve was made out of spare parts, essentially.
Yep. Spare part hooker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sexy.
But let's face it.
I'm all for it.
One way or another, you pay for sex regardless. I mean, you pay
steak
for
dinner,
it one way or another.
Steak dinner, wedding ring.
And
hooker
I'm sorry, there are too many people who
alley.
it's just too convenient to just be straightforward about it and can I just give you money, we have sex, and then you leave?
Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to take you out to dinner, buy you drinks.
Yeah.
It
theory,
takes up so much time.
A prostitute is so much less expensive than that, even a high-end one. By the time you're done with the night, you could spend $200-$300 to take a woman out and buy her drinks and dinner and a movie and all this other shit. And then you might have to do that 2 or 3 times before she'll sleep with you. Or you can spend a couple $100 on a decent prostitute, get exactly what you wanted in the first place, done. If you're not looking for a relationship, why spend all the extra money to get the one thing you actually wanted?
Deep thoughts by the Lord. Deep, penetrating thoughts.
No, those are ravens.
Yeah.
I don't have the deep penetrating thoughts. I
know,
have the asshole commentary on the deep penetrating thoughts.
Yep. So there's the question for the night. And of course, we're always interested to hear what our viewers think.
Yeah, what are your opinions about prostitution?
Legalized prostitution.
Or prostitution in general. I don't give a shit. Sounds
Yeah,
like fun.
sure.
Let's talk about it.
Call in with your horror stories. We'd love to hear them.
And what number are they supposed to call?
1-800...
This is not a real number. I don't care what he says afterwards.
No, instead, we'll call in. I don't know. They can Skype
Message
us. Message us. Use the interwebs to send in your commentary. And
send us a twatter. Send us an email.
Remember that address is Lord Sir Daddy Radio at gmail.com.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And for all you twits and twats out there, don't forget to add us on the Twitter, Lord Sir Daddy.
Twatter.
Oh, yeah, baby. Give us your hashtags good and hard.
And for anybody that wants it in the face, we're on the Facebook, too.
Mm. Hashtag fuck you, it's a pound sign. I mean, yeah.
Sweet.
In local news, there was an emu on the loose.
An emu.
Emu or
on
emo?
the loose in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Where the fuck did someone get... Is this like a zoo escapee?
I'm not really sure the exact details on it. I just know that I commented on it because I asked if John Q. Public were to apprehend said emu that we could have a
sex
barbecue.
with it? Well, I want to have sex with it.
You can have sex with it while I'm barbecuing it. How's that?
And we learned so much about Sir and Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
Just by their different reactions to the possibility of capturing an emu.
Yeah, I mean, I'd do it lovingly. I'd whisper sweet nothings in its emu ears while I penetrated it.
Well, think about that neck. That is a huge neck. There is no way to deep throat it far enough.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you could accordion it.
That beak would get in the way, too.
Yeah, I'm getting turned on.
Like you care.
And on our next show, we'll be talking about bestiality. Who wants to fuck the dog? That guy.
Bow, wow, wow, yippee, yo, yippee, yeah. Do you have any deep penetrating thoughts for us?
My only deep penetrating thoughts this week have been how I do not kill people that annoy me. But that's not something...
Do you consider that a public service?
Not really.
You should still share it with us.
Tell us all about it, Janet.
Damn it, Janet.
Let's go screw.
Well, how to deal with individuals that just downright piss you off.
You end up in a radio show with them.
Yeah. I thought this was the chainsaw 55-gallon drum and a bathtub and lie. Is that how
Don't
we do?
ask what's in the backyard. Anyway.
I personally just like to laugh at them, poke fun at them, and make them feel worse than they try to make me feel. Because let's get right down to brass tacks. Anyone who knows me knows I really don't give a fuck about your opinion unless you actually matter to me. So if you wanted to go around posting that you hate my guts, feel free to do so. I will laugh at you because you took time out of your precious day to think of me.
I'm going to post that I hate your guts right now.
Fantastic! Daddy hates my guts.
Where's my laughter? I want to be laughed at.
I'll laugh at you later.
Oh, baby. Make sure to cup the balls.
Haha. I'll cough too.
Mm.
Wait, whose balls are getting cupped?
Mine, of course.
Yours? Oh.
Yeah.
I have 2 hands.
Yeah, you can cup your own, too.
Right.
Yep.
Again, hearing from Daddy's stomach.
All right, I'd like to point out that not only have I just posted that I hate Raven's guts, but that autocorrect tried to change Ravens to Heavens.
Oh.
Why I would hate Heaven's guts, I don't know.
Well, you are the Lord.
Well, yeah, but in theory, that's my house. Why would I hate it?
I don't know, because it's filled with fucking angels that won't put out.
They're eunuchs.
Yeah, they will. No. See, we all watch The Prophecy. We all know they're hermaphrodites.
I love hermaphrodites.
His and hers.
Love hermaphrodites.
You love hermaphrodites.
Love hermaphrodites.
What do you love about hermaphrodites? Why do you love them?
Choices. I like choices in life.
Multiple options?
Oh, yeah.
Whether to suck or fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, or both. Yeah.
Pound or get pounded?
Yeah. I wonder if we have any hermaphrodite listeners.
I don't know.
If you're a hermaphrodite listener, please contact us. We want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Daddy has something for you.
Daddy has a discussion point.
Sarah would watch.
Well, how do you feel about hermaphrodites?
I've actually talked about giving a hermaphrodite some biodick. Because, oddly enough, the hermaphrodite in question doesn't often get the biocock.
That's a shame.
It gets a lot of...
Strap-on?
Yeah, a lot of strap-on, because a lot of girls were like, hey, you have a dick and a pussy. I kind of want to fuck you, like, twice over. You can fuck me and I can fuck you without the pegging involved. But a lot of biocock doesn't seem all that interested. So I was negotiating with one to do so.
Is that like a bucket list thing? Like,
kind of.
I banged a hermaphrodite?
Yeah, kind of.
Now, would you let the hermaphrodite bang you?
The pet has prima nocta on my black cherry, so no.
What about mouth fucking?
If they were cute enough.
Yeah, you'd suck that cock.
Well, yeah, but you're referring to a hermaphrodite that none of us have met, as far as I know, so I don't know who this person is. Are they
theoretical hermaphrodite?
I think the two of you may have actually met this hermaphrodite. I know Daddy has. I'm not so sure if Lord has. But this hermaphrodite is actually someone who's relatively famous, that I'm not going to mention their name to keep anonymity.
Because we don't have permission. Unlike Diva, who will be listening to this show and probably laughing himself silly at all our tangents.
Yeah, because we can talk about fucking Diva all we want.
Oh, yeah, and Mel and Ellen. Let's go ahead and bring up Mel and Ellen.
Are we fucking Mel and Ellen as well?
Well,
Are we fucking Mel and Ellen with Diva?
I presume if you ask them nicely enough, and probably not with Diva.
Damn
Why
it.
not with
I want to
Diva?
stick Diva in someone.
Why?
I don't know, because it'd be fun.
No.
Diva's small enough you could just wrap him in plastic and shove him
I know.
entirely into someone.
I know.
Oh, good. So we can do that to Daddy.
I'm not small and tiny enough to be plastic wrapped and just shove it in someone.
No, but we can plastic wrap Diva and shove him in you.
Oh, I don't know.
You're saying
He
he's
might
small
fit.
enough it could work. So
He might fit. I have a really tight pooper.
I want you to put your mouth where your anus is, and
I wish, dude. If I could eat my own ass, I wouldn't be here on this radio station right now.
Well, yeah, but let's face it. If we were all that flexible, we would all be either at home eating our asses or blowing ourselves, or in some of
Yeah.
our cases, both.
Or this
And
show
I'm
would be
looking
totally
right at the sir right now.
Or this show would be totally unintelligible because we would all be talking with our mouths full.
Today on Orphan
All right, I came, so we can talk for 10 minutes.
Round 2.
Round 2. Suck.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Mortal kink bass.
Hermaphrodites.
Hermaphrodites.
Hermaphrodites. Fascinated.
Now, do you prefer the hermaphrodites that have the external gonads or the internal gonads?
I think they're all fascinating. Honestly, I just find the arrangement in general to be
External's a little more noticeable, a little more obvious.
they're just interesting in general. Like, are you dealing
They're
with someone that is an
interesting
actual
in general.
hermaphrodite, or are you talking about an extended clit? Are you talking about with or without testicles? Which parts of them actually work?
Intersexed.
You know, it's one of those where it's like I'm not really interested in fucking one, but dude, I would sit down and interview one for hours.
And by interview, you mean they have their pants off and you investigate, right?
Oh no, I just ask. I just like to me that would be so
Can
fascinating.
I ask you a question?
Like, how the fuck does a hermaphrodite think? Do they just want to nail everything in sight, or be nailed by everything in sight?
Wow.
Or like, I don't know.
Apparently, being a hermaphrodite is synonymous in the Lord's mind with like sex-crazed, horny nympho.
Well, think about how sex crazed and horny you are with only one set of genitals.
Yeah.
And now imagine having two different sets of genitals.
It's additive? That's how it works?
If
Like
you
the
think
more
about it.
genitals I have, like the hornier I get.
And more options, not just more genitals, but more options.
I wonder if I could go like steal a bunch of gonads and attach them to myself, and I would get like totally sexed out, like human centipede myself, but with dicks.
But then again, for all I know, the hermaphrodite would be impotent and frigid. I don't know. That's what makes it fascinating to me. Is like, oh, let's have a talk.
Well, by that thought, you should. You heard about the guy who had multiple penises, right? He was biphallic.
Biphallic?
Yeah, multiple penises, both fully functional.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, I should find you the article on the internet sometime. But he was interviewed recently by like Wired magazine or something like
By
that.
article, do you mean porn?
No, he was actually legitimately interviewed by a news source and still remained anonymous. But apparently, the guy is like one of the most pussy-gettingest guys known to man. Like, has had thousands of partners.
Well, dude, at that point, especially if you can do two at once, and not to mention, he's like, once you find out about that, as a woman, how would you not want to fuck him for at least the story?
Oh yeah,
just to be like, I was with a guy who had two functional dicks.
Mm-hmm. Both holes filled, airtight.
Exactly. Well, no, it's airtight.
Airtight's
You need all
all
three.
That's what he uses his fist for.
Or just has a friend tag along.
Yeah. Then you can airtight, but then again, you only need one friend. You can Eiffel Tower and airtight at the same time.
Oh!
Now I have your attention.
You can also go hole to hole like whack-a-mole without worrying about cross-contamination.
And you can make the penises touch without being gay.
Oh, yeah.
Double vaginal, double anal at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. And that concludes our show for this evening. Be sure to tune in to us next week, where more fucked up shit will be coming across our lips into your ears.
We already talked about fucked up shit. I think we should talk about fucked up piss or something else.
I thought we were going to be talking about bestiality.
That's right. Auto-necro bestiality involving defenestration.
No,
So we're going to throw animals out the window while we fuck them?
No, we talked about that in
Dead
the
animals.
first show.
Did we? Damn it.
Now we just need to go up with straight up bestiality.
Straight up bestiality. So coming to you next episode, we talk all about your cats and what we want to do with them.
If we even remember that, we might just talk about something else. Who knows?
Yep. So this has been
The Lord,
Sir,
and Daddy
on Lord Sir Daddy Radio. Thank you and good night.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike, you know.
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Hey, it's Flo, and this is my impression of a drill instructor directing a musical. done hot? Get those tap heels in line and let me see those jazz hands. Are you bundling your home and auto insurance through Progressive? Can you hear me through those sequins?
Bundle your home and auto through Progressive and save.
Left, 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 and step ball change.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Home insurance provided and serviced by other select insurers.